What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. We are continuing our 2023 Will Be Team Projection Series. Today we are doing the Miami Marlins. Let's talk about them. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of Normal Baseball. We are back with our team projection series, which we are calling our Will Be series. Today we are doing the Miami Marlins. Yes. The boys down south. Always ride with the boys down south. You know I got my Marlins Trey Turner jersey on. That never happened, but it's too late. Yep. So basically for this series, what we did is we made power rankings and we ranked every team from 1 to 10 based on 7 different categories of their team. We did lineup, bench, defense, rotation, bullpen, coaching, and energy. And we rated each one 1 to 10 for every team, and we made our power rankings that way. The Marlins were 23rd on our list, according to us. So they are the 23rd best team in baseball and the 11th best team in the National League. And yeah, let's get into it. The boys down south. We love the boys down south.
Gotta ride with the boys down south forever and always. We'll be their number 1 and 2 biggest fans, I think.
I did make the announcement the other day. That tragic announcement that I'm not playing for the Miami Marlins this season.
Oh, that's.
I don't know if you saw that video.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. It was tragic.
What? You didn't get the non-roster invitee spot?
Just wasn't. I'm 18. And I'm not a professional baseball player. So that's really what it came down to. So.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah. So the Miami Marlins, they did a good amount of stuff this offseason.
Shockingly.
They made some changes. There's a couple new faces, a couple of same faces that are going to be in different spots. And let's get right into it.
Yeah.
So the first category of our rankings was lineup. And out of 10, we gave their lineup a 6.7. The second highest we've seen so far. 6.7 on their lineup. Their lineup...
It looks good. It's good.
It looks good, yeah. When you just kind of glance at it, there's a lot of good names. There's a lot of potential in the lineup. I think it's more of a potential kind of lineup. The lineup as is right now, Jazz Chisholm Jr., center field. Jorge Soler at DH. Luis Arias at second base. Garrett Cooper at first base. Avasail Garcia in right field. Gene Segura at third base. Joey Wendell at shortstop. Brian De La Cruz in left field. And Jacob Stallings at catcher. Let's talk a little bit about this lineup. First and foremost, Jazz Chisholm, cover of MLB The Show. Big season for him coming up. He's got to prove himself. A lot of people...
True.
But he's going to be playing center field this year. We'll get more into it when we talk about defense. But in an offensive standpoint, I hope it doesn't affect his offense. Like, I hope he doesn't affect him too much on the offensive side. I'm excited to watch Jazz Chisholm this year. And how could you not?
I don't think it's going to affect him too much just because we know that Jazz is very... his personality. Because I don't want to say that he's... that he doesn't care, but his personality shows that he's up to any task, and he can certainly take care of business, and I think that, sure, there's going to be an adjustment time, but that's what they have spring training for, and I think that we'll see Jazz Chisholm doing just fine in center field. As for the rest of the lineup, sneaky, I really like it. The only issue that I have is Joey Wendell playing short. I don't know how realistic that is going into... this upcoming season. He will be turning 33 years old. That's the one question mark that I have. But besides that, the lineup looks pretty solid.
If I had to guess, I would say it's very changeable. Joey Wendell, just their whole infield is very diverse and versatile. Like on any given day, Luis Arias can play first base if Garrett Cooper's not playing. That moves Joey Wendell to second. I think Gene Segura will be playing third mostly, but I think Gene Segura can still play second or short when they need him. And then John Birdie is also on the bench, who we'll talk about. He's going to be playing a lot. He'll be at any of the infield positions a lot too. Like, they have a lot of options and they have a lot of different ways to kind of formulate this infield, which is the main reason they moved Jazz Chisholm out of the infield.
Right.
Just they did not need him in the infield anymore.
They had an overflow, and it's lucky that he wants to...
yeah, he's up to the task.
Yeah, that he wants to go take care of business out in center field.
Yeah, he's more than up to the task. So that's good for him because they have so many options in the infield, which is a good thing, but did lead to some other stuff. So
yeah, but all in all, this lineup looks good. I mean, it's hard to say that the lineup doesn't look good when they added the American League batting champion.
Yeah,
Luis Arias in a trade earlier in the new year of 2023. Luis Arias, good pickup.
Yeah, well, so the full trade was the Marlins received Luis Arias in exchange for Pablo Lopez. So they did take a little hit on their rotation, but not that big of a hit because their rotation is still doing pretty good. But we'll talk about that later. But they did give up Pablo Lopez to get the reigning batting champion, and I'm gonna be honest, I like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with going out and getting a guy who batted .316 last season. Like, there's no kind of losing that trade. Yes, you're giving up Pablo Lopez, but the guy literally hit .316 last season. Like, it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, so. And I think with the makeup of this lineup, I think the only outlier is really Jorge Soler. This team is going to kill you with singles and doubles and triples, and Luis Arias fits into that mold perfectly, especially after winning a batting title.
Yeah, they're another very pesky team.
They're gonna nip at the toes. They're gonna nip at the toes, man.
Yeah, they are.
Those
they are.
Big three in that.
I like the Joey Wendell. Brian De La Cruz is a guy who, if I'm not like a Marlins fan, or if I am a Marlins fan, look out for him this season. I think Brian De La Cruz is set to have a very, very good season. Same with one of the guys on the bench who we'll talk about. But Brian De La Cruz, keep your eye out for him in the outfield this season. Obviously, you want Jacob Stallings to play a little bit better than he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was still not horrible last year, but you want him to play a little bit better, like the guy you traded for.
Right.
And then, yeah, like you said, Jorge Soler also had a bit of a not great year last year.
Injury-riddled season, but he was more than serviceable. Definitely, he was a good player during the time that he did play.
Yeah, he only played 72 games, but batted .207, 700 OPS. He wasn't really great in the time he played, but like we said, he had a lot of injuries, so we'll see. The same thing with Jazz Chisholm. You know, he had a good year when he was playing, but then he got injured. So you'd like to keep the injuries away from this team so you can actually maybe make some more noise than people think that you're going to make.
Oh, I completely agree, because this team has what I would say the biggest excitement factor out of any team that we've really covered, because although the Marlins do play in what some would consider the best division in baseball now, in the American National League East, they have a lineup that would compete if they were in the NL Central, the NL West even. They would be able to at least compete a little bit more. It's just that the NL East, man, is just like really loaded up, so this team needs to be loaded, and it's not. But it could be. There's so much potential around.
The foundation is there.
Yeah.
It's more of you have to see how some guys play this season, and you kind of just have to. They're in a very, very slow rebuild almost.
For sure.
But like I said, I think the guy to look out for is Brian De La Cruz. This guy can hit for a high average depending on. He has the ability. Will he? We'll see. Hit for a high average. He can hit home runs. He's fast. Well, he's not fast, but he can run if needed.
Yeah.
I think this lineup has the potential, like we said, but it's going to take them a couple more years to get to that spot of competing for the NL East.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we gave them a 6.7, because the foundation's there, but no really proven badge except for Jorge Soler if they make it to the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they make it to the World Series, that's a big if.
Well, when they make it to the World Series.
The only guy they really lost from this lineup was Brian Anderson, who, longtime Marlin, signed a 1-year deal with the Brewers. Not that big of a hit, especially when you look at who they brought in and their whole infield situation anyway. So
They'll be
not that bad. They still have guys that are going to be replacing him. So I don't think it's the worst thing that's happened.
Yeah.
That's really everything with the lineup. Oh, and they signed Gene Segura. I said that. I don't think I specified the contract. They signed Gene Segura to a 1 year. Do you have the lineup? I mean do you have the exact contract? I don't have the contract. Oh, I got it. 2 years, $17 million with the 2025 club option. So that's the Gene Segura deal. They're hoping he brings a lot of value to the offense and defense.
I think he will.
World Series, NL champion last year.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. Yep.
I'm excited to watch the lineup play, and the next step is now to move on to the next part, the bench.
Yeah, their bench. We gave them a 6.4 out of 10 on the bench. It's not a bad bench whatsoever.
No. I mean, on Fangraphs, having John Birdie on the bench, who can very easily probably steal 30 bases if they give him enough pinch hit opportunities, I think that's fine. What are you doing? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most, the pinch run opportunities from John Birdie. I think really make this bench pop to me a little bit, along with the ability of Jesus Sanchez, who I personally believe in a lot. That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah. I looked at it, like you said, John Birdie is a great guy to have on the bench. I said he'll probably be playing a lot, which he could. It depends on how everyone plays and who they want to play on what day. I think Jesus Sanchez is a great player. I think he's going to, I want to say, break out in the games that he will be playing in. We've seen this guy hit monster home runs, so I think he'll prove his power and his worth this season. And then Jordan Groshans, who's a young guy who they got from the Blue Jays,
I think,
last season.
I think that sounds right. Jordan Groshans sounds like a Blue Jay.
I believe he was the Blue Jays' 4th overall prospect, and I believe it was in the August, September-ish.
Was it the reliever trade?
Yeah, I think it was when they gave up Zach Pop. I believe that's who they got in return.
It was Zach Pop and who else? It was another bullpen piece, but whatever.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. They have Jordan Groshans, who, young guy, I'd like to see what he can do coming off their bench this year. What's going on with him.
Yeah, I agree.
Then a couple guys that are injured. There are no significant position players injured, I guess. So there's that. That's a good thing. But that's their bench. We kind of gave it a 6.4 because in terms of bench players, they're very good bench players.
And each position on their, the 4 bench players that are on Fangraphs very clearly have a designated role, which is exciting to see. You don't really see that too often. It's more of a fabled thing of you have one backup catcher, you have one guy who can run, you have one guy that can play anywhere, and then you have one guy who's a power bat. And I think that's exactly what they have.
Very balanced bench, yeah.
Very balanced.
I like that as well.
Yep.
So that's kind of the whole reasoning on the 6.4 bench, which is the highest we've seen so far through our rankings out of the bottom 7 teams in baseball that we've done so far. They have the highest. Would you like to move on?
Of course.
Moving on, we have their defense. We gave their defense a 7.2 out of 10. Pretty good score. And I feel like you have a lot to say about their defense. I do as well, but I'll let you go first.
Jazz Chisholm's going to win a platinum glove in center field.
All right, let's calm down. Here.
Gene Segura playing third base, I feel like it fits him a little bit more just because he wasn't, at times on the Phillies, he wasn't always the best defensive second baseman.
Not a great defensive.
So having a little bit more room, having a little bit less room at third base, especially because Joey Wendell playing short is he'll cover more to more towards inside the field. So Gene Segura only needs to really play to one side of the field. I think that's going to benefit him. Derek Cooper, absolute dog, youngest of 7 kids. In case you were wondering about him. But Derek Cooper, I think, is just a very good first baseman. And Luis Arias, another just good first baseman, second baseman, hell, they could probably put him anywhere and he'll be good defensively.
Yeah. Luis Arias brings good diversity
And Jacob Stallings.
of defense. Luis Arias isn't the best defender out there. He's not really great. Especially in Minnesota, he really wasn't considered good defensively. But you do have Jacob Stallings, who's a good defender. He's got an arm. Jazz Chisholm Jr., like you said, I think Jazz. Do you think Jazz wins a Gold Glove? I'm gonna say yes.
He said it. The script must be out there somewhere. Jazz is gonna win the Gold
I think he
Glove.
does. He's so confident, and
Mike Trout, who?
His confidence kind of makes me confident.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's confident makes me confident.
Who won the National League Gold Glove for center field last year? Gold Glove winners.
I wish I could tell you.
2023.
Probably Tyler O'Neill.
Center field was Trent Grisham.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was very good defensively. He's been good defensively the last few years. But hopefully Jazz Chisholm Jr. can take that away. We are riding with the boys down south.
Always ride with the boys
always
down south.
Ride with the boys down south.
Forever and always, baby.
Forever. But yeah, defensively this team is pretty good. Pretty good.
Very good.
Moving on. We have the rotation, which this is by far the highest rotation we've had so far. We gave their rotation an 8.2 out of 10. A very good score. Very, very good score. Yeah. I mean,
solid.
Their rotation is amazing.
Sandy Alcantara coming off of a unanimous Cy Young.
Unanimous Cy Young. Not even a shadow of a doubt. There wasn't even like a moment that you could be like, no. He is the Cy Young. 2.28 ERA. He had, how many complete games did he have? He had 6 complete games, 1 complete game shutout. He led the league in innings pitched. 207 strikeouts.
Dog.
Absolute dog. It felt like every time he went out there, he was pitching 8 innings, 7 innings.
Yeah, workhorse.
6.5 innings. Yeah. It just, he was out there to pitch as much as he possibly can, and that's exactly what he did. Sandy Alcantara does he go back-to-back Cy Young?
Yeah.
I say he definitely has a shot. If he pitches exactly like he did last year, he will.
Yeah.
I think that stat line he had last year wins Cy Young in a lot of years. I won't say most, but a lot.
Yeah.
So I have faith in Sandy Alcantara. They picked up Johnny Cueto.
They did.
Johnny Cueto was a free agent. Was on the White Sox last year.
And kind of had like a very under the radar season for being Johnny Cueto, the now 37-year-old at the time, last season 36-year-old Johnny Cueto. Had a very under the radar season, which landed him a good contract to play at least one more season in Miami.
Yeah, 1 year, $8.5 million is what they're paying him this year.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, he had a 3.35 ERA in 25 games.
That's
really good considering Johnny Cueto. I think a lot of people would have thought that he would have more of a 4.2 ERA. 3.35 is a really good ERA. Yeah. 2.4 WAR. I think he's a really good addition to this bullpen. This rotation. Considering you're taking Pablo Lopez out of it, this is the guy who they added in, and I think it's a good fit. And especially just Miami. Johnny Cueto belonged in Miami. He belonged there at some point in his career. I'm glad it's now. It kind of made the Pablo Lopez trade not as bad for the Marlins because, hey, yes, we're getting the batting champion. We're winning this trade in our eyes no matter what, but we're also getting Johnny Cueto on a 1-year deal, and he's going to pitch hopefully just as good as Pablo Lopez does. Do I think he will wind up pitching as good as Pablo Lopez will? That's too early to say. We'll have to wait till the season starts, but if Johnny Cueto can replicate last season,
he's fine.
It'll be a well worth deal for the Marlins if they get a guy with a 3.35 ERA.
Agreed. And when the Marlins and the Twins see each other in the World Series, it's going to be the storyline.
Marlins World Series this year? It's got to happen.
As for the rest of their starting pitching, Jesus Luzardo, he's good. Edward Cabrera,
that was like Jesus Luzardo. He's good.
Yeah. That's all that I really know about him for the most part. The guy that I like a lot is Edward Cabrera, an absolute demon, quite literally on the mound. He's like 6'7", and just is an absolute power pitcher. A 25-year-old kid. I think that he's going to be the next guy that everyone is just looking at and thinking, like, how the hell does he do it? Just like how Aaron Judge came up and being as tall and big as he is, and he's able to go out in the outfield. I think the same thought process should go into how the hell Edward Cabrera plays baseball and pitches at such a high level, because this is going to be his season. I think that this is the season of Edward Cabrera.
Season of Edward Cabrera, maybe.
No, for sure. I've declared it. I've declared it.
He was very good last season. He had a 3 ERA in 14 starts. He was very, very good last season. And I agree. I'm very high on Edward Cabrera. Mm-hmm. Just based on the way he plays and some of the stuff he's got can be very dangerous for hitters.
Let's take a look at his Baseball Savant page. Let's see how cool his Baseball Savant is.
He pitched a little bit in 2021, only 7 games, and people kind of got excited for him. He didn't pitch amazing in those 7 games, but then he came up last year towards the end of the season, and he just started dominating, and it kind of went under the radar because, he was on the Marlins, and it was towards the end of the season, and they still weren't winning games because at that point their team had gotten to the point where they got really cold. In the second half of last year, they got really bad. In the first half of the season, they were almost 500, and then in the second half of the year, they played .366 win percentage baseball. So not great in the second half of the year, and I think that's kind of what helped it go under the radar of just how good Edward Cabrera was pitching.
Yeah, I agree. As for some advanced stats, 86th percentile in whiff percentage, amazing. 76th percentile in chase rate. Another good one. His fastball velocity, a little bit low, 85th percentile, but his K percentage is at 69th percentile.
Nice.
Let it be known, he throws a 5-pitch mix that looks pretty deadly, and if I can find it, I would love to know what he looks like when he gets ahead of a batter, because I feel like with his pitch mix of changeup, slider, curveball, fastball, sinker, that just sounds deadly, and it looks as if the only pitch that teams are batting against that is over 200 is his sinker, and they're batting 250 against it. Everything else is well below 200. He is a good pitcher. Good pitcher.
To say the very least. Hopefully he can continue.
So excited to watch him.
Hopefully he can continue to be this season, because he's fun to watch, and I want him to get a little more recognition than I think he's getting.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last guy in their rotation is Trevor Rogers, who last season was not very good. 5.8 ERA, I believe. But the season before, in 2021, where he pitched more games, he had a 2.64 ERA. So he has the ability to be very good. It's more of just now that he's had a really good season and a really bad season, you want to see what he's going to do this season, if he's going to continue to be bad or if he's going to go back to that good season. But if he can have a really good season with this rotation, it's a deadly rotation if he has a good season as well.
Oh yeah.
He threw less fastballs last season, more sliders, more changeups. So he went more to the off speed last season. Not by much, but that is something to note. Maybe he'll throw more fastballs next season, but I hope he does have a good year next year.
I agree. I'm rooting for all the boys down south. They're, in my opinion, if I had a sports book, they would be my World Series favorite, and it would not be close.
Okay. Moving on. We have their bullpen. We gave it a 5.5 out of 10. Nothing crazy.
Middle of the road.
I think it's a decent bullpen, but it's deserving of a 5.5 when you look at all the names.
Matt Barnes.
They did get 3 new people in this rotation. Matt Barnes, who they acquired in a trade with the Red Sox. They traded away Richard Blyer, who, R.I.P. He's in Boston now.
True.
I love it. We are big Richard Blyer fans. Richard Blyer, if you're watching this, we're going to miss you on the Marlins.
We loved you on the Marlins.
And if you're watching this, we came up to you when you played at Citi Field last year, and we told you that our dog was named after you, and you proved us wrong on the spot. It was very impressive.
It was more of a figure of speech, but still impressive.
It was more
not figure of speech.
It was more of a thing we call him instead of his name,
that.
not his actual name.
Where's the pillow?
I'm not getting the pillow. But Richard Bly, if you're watching this,
We love you.
We're going to miss you in Miami.
We love you. It's sad to say that I physically cannot bring a single bone in my body to root for you, but we're sad to see you go.
Yeah, we are sad to see you go. Who else they got? AJ Puke. It's Puke. It's
Puck.
it's
Puck.
it's
Puck.
it's Puke.
It's Puck. It's Puck. Don't call him Puke. That's
It's
so
Puke.
disrespectful.
It's Puke. It's gotta be Puke.
Puck. It's Puck.
Puck. It is Puck.
It's
I like Puke better, so I'm gonna say
We're not
Puke.
calling him.
A-
Alex, part of riding with the boys down south is not being just.
All right, fine.
Disrespectful.
AJ Puck. AJ Puck. I apologize for saying it wrong. AJ Puck. Got them in a trade with the Athletics.
JJ Bleday, right? Is who they sent
Yeah,
out? Yep.
they got rid of JJ Bleday and
Good arm.
Yeah, very good arm. And JT Chargois. Again, if I said that wrong, I'm so sorry. He's not really on my. I can't say he's on my radar. They got him from the Rays, but I can't say he's on my radar, so I don't know the full pronunciation. Because most of the time, my pronunciations, especially with names like that, I have to listen and watch the player to actually get it cemented in my brain.
Yeah,
So I apologize. But yeah, nothing crazy in this bullpen. They have some good guys. They have the potential. They have the ability. But it's kind of middle of the road bullpen.
Yeah.
It's not a bad bullpen, but it's not a top tier bullpen. So
Agreed. I'm looking forward to seeing AJ Puck come in and close out Game 4 of the World Series to sweep the Twins. It'll be exciting. It'll be
I can't
very
wait.
exciting.
I can't. Also, we didn't mention a couple injured starters they have. Max Meyer, who was a prospect. Pretty highly touted prospect, got Tommy John surgery in August of last year. He's going to be sidelined for a while. And Sixto Sanchez, the 24-year-old, he's back. We haven't seen him pitch since 2020, and he had shoulder surgery back in October, and he'll be back and hopefully playing by the start of the season. He had some nasty stuff, and I'm looking to see him get back on the field and start pitching again because I'd love to see him dominate people again.
He's supposed to be ready for spring training in the next coming week.
Yeah, he's going to be playing very, very soon. So
excited to see him come back because, that 2020 season that he had was dominant, and to think that he just, put on the cloak of invisibility is crazy to think about. So excited to watch him play again.
Yep. And as far as their relievers, Anthony Bender had Tommy John surgery in August of last year. He's going to be sidelined for pretty much all of the season. And, so that's what's going on with them.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how their new manager takes over this.
Yeah, they're coaching. We gave them a 7 out of 10 on coaching.
Yeah.
You have anything to say about that? 7 out of 10 on coaching. Obviously, they have been known to have some pretty good young talent the past couple of years. And even if you go as far back as Yelich and all them, they can get young talent.
Yeah.
And so far with their young guys have been playing pretty good. There are some adjustments that we have seen their young guys have to make.
Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm has to try to strike out less, stuff like that. But overall, they have some pretty good coaching.
Yeah, having what's his name? It's Skip Schumacher.
Schumacher, yeah.
Yeah, Skip
Great.
Schumacher.
Great
coach.
Hopefully, he's going to be a great manager this year.
Yeah, I think that he has a very good baseball mind compared to some of the other hirings that we've seen so far this offseason, or this entire offseason, because we have spring training on now. But definitely one of the better signings, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they go about this, because not so much for this year, but moving forward, the manager for Team USA, I forget his name, the
Mark DeRosa.
Mark DeRosa, he has been very public about, if there is an opportunity for him to coach in the MLB after this, if anybody wants to pick him up, that he's more than open to trying it. And I feel like this team could be that if they did not pick up Skip Schumacher.
Yeah, I don't really think I want to think.
I don't know how they're going to handle it, but Skip Schumacher's great. Mark DeRosa's great. So I think that there's no way that they can go wrong with no matter what they do moving forward. I'm a very big fan of what they're doing. What?
How?
What?
What's his managerial contract?
Well,
Through the 2024 season. So why are we talking about Mark DeRosa?
Because Mark DeRosa had said that he's interested in.
But who the hell cares? He's not.
But
they have him till 2024 or 2025.
He can get fired tomorrow.
He's not going to get fired.
But he could get.
They're not firing him. He's going to be a good coach. We gave them a 7 on coaching. We're not going to talk about how their coach might get fired in the next couple of days.
I know.
He's going to be a good coach. I truly do think he's going to be a good coach.
I agree.
So yeah, we gave him a 7 out of 10 on coaching. And then energy was the last category. We gave him a 6.5 out of 10. I like it.
I think that's very fair.
I think it might. There is an argument that it's a little low. But
if Sandy expressed emotion,
yeah. If Sandy had more emotion, yeah.
Yeah, that's what really
Although,
said it to me.
Sandy does have emotion.
But he doesn't do, like...
Well,
yeah.
he's not...
But then again, he never gets into sticky situations. He's the best fucking pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, he's very composed. He knows he's good.
He's professional.
He is humble. And he knows he's good. And he's just going to be like, yeah, I just struck you out looking... And I struck out the side. That's what I do. I'm Sandy fucking Alcantara.
I'm the only pitcher to ever throw 7 immaculate innings in a row in a World Series game. That's Sandy Alcantara for you.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So, do you have your rookie report that you want to give us?
Oh,
Lewis
of course.
Likes to talk about a couple rookies, or a rookie, a singular rookie.
So, obviously, as Alex had mentioned earlier, Max Meyer. Sadly, he underwent some surgery. I believe Tommy John. Yes, Tommy John last season. So
I don't think he'll be playing this season.
No one knows. He might be in September, depending on where the Marlins are and all that, and if they want to rehab him slowly or not. But if we don't want to look at Max Meyer, who is ranked 43rd in the MLB's top 100 prospects, we can look at the number 9 prospect in all of baseball, Yuri Perez, who is in Double-A. He's going to be 20 years old soon. He's a demon. I mean, he went straight into A-ball last year and immediately upgraded into Double-A, where he had just under a 4 ERA at a 3.9, looked really good, had a 1.14 whip, and held opponents to a 221 average, where he racked up 110 strikeouts over 18 games. And 77 innings pitched. Really, really good prospect. He has all the stuff, and that's the stuff that he has and the utility that he has on the mound is very, very rare to see from a 6'8" dude who, like, no one really knew about, and now he's the number 9 prospect in all of baseball.
6'8" dude is scary to even think about. 6'8" pitcher. So yeah, that sounds fun.
I just don't know how much more I can say about him. You can just talk about his pitch mix, but saying that he throws, that fastball, the curveball, and the changeup, he basically lives and dies with those 3 pitches, 4 pitches, like 2-seam, 4-seam type of deal. But you have to see it, you have to watch it to see just how badly he catches hitters swinging and missing on the back foot changeups and back foot curveballs. It's just insane that he has that much talent to locate pitches that well. You have to see it, go watch it. I really encourage everyone to look at prospects more because they're the future of the game just as much as as any other prospect could be.
Lewis, big prospect guy.
Massive prospect guy.
Yeah. And now we do the fun stuff. I did just want to say, like I said earlier, I would like to see them be decently good, better than people think for the entire season. Last season they were almost 500 at the All-Star break, and I think a lot of people were surprised. I'd love to see this year for them to do the same, but then continue that the second half of the season.
I agree. I would love to see it as well. That would make everything a lot more entertaining, a lot more fun to watch, especially for such what could be great market in Miami. What's not to love about Miami?
Yeah, there's a world where it happens. So I just want to say this one last thing, just because I had it on my sheet. I want to just kind of say it. They killed the Nationals last year. They were 15-4 against the Nationals. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so now we do MVPs, an MVP hitter and an MVP pitcher. Who will be their most valuable hitter next season, Lewis?
Pretty cut and dry. Jazz Chisholm.
I agree. Jazz Chisholm. That's what I was going with.
Yep.
I think our MVP pitcher is going to be pretty cut and dry as well.
Well, you give yours first.
Oh, I know who you're going to give. I'm going to go on Sandy Alcantara. I know who Lewis is going to make the argument for, but I think Sandy will be better. I think it's kind of hard to deny Sandy's going to be better.
I'm going to go Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto. You think he's going to pitch better than Sandy Alcantara this year?
I'm not saying that he's going to pitch better, but it's the same argument that you can make with, you know what you're going to get out of Sandy. He is statistically, as of right now, the best pitcher in baseball. And you can have one great pitcher, but like you need to have other people to back that up, and I think Johnny Cueto will back it up and do really, really solid behind Sandy this season.
I don't like that at all. That's not most value. That's not.
That adds so much value.
It does, but if you take Sandy Alcantara from this rotation,
then Johnny Cueto's the number one.
Yes, and it looks a lot worse than it. Like it's not a. It's a
that?
very good rotation.
Have you seen him pitch?
You take the unanimous Cy Young winner from last year out of this rotation, and they are a worse rotation. Yes, that is a fact. I think Sandy Alcantara will definitely be the most valuable. Sandy Alcantara will be the most valuable pitcher for the Marlins this season, in my opinion.
Johnny Cueto.
You are fucking ridiculous. Anyway, if you're counting at home, we gave them a total score out of the 70 possible points. We gave them 47.5, which is like we said, the 23rd best in baseball and the 11th best in the National League. Now we do the fun part. I will say the 2023 Marlins will be, and Lewis will tell me what place the 2023 Marlins will be in. Lewis, the 2023 Miami Marlins will be in
4th place.
4th place. I agree. I think 4th place, right in front of the Nats, right behind the Phillies. Wait. I didn't mean to spoil, but But yeah, that's where I think they'll be in 4th, and I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Gotta ride with the boys down south.
Always ride with the boys down south.
Where is he?
We will be at games. That's the Marlins shell for the bobbleheads. You want to just show them off?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Can they see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got 2003 World Series champion Pudge.
All right. We don't have to go through each one.
Billy the Marlin.
All right. Take Sandy. They can't see Sandy.
Can they not see South Beach Sandy?
Yeah. Just show them. Just show them. All right, we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching, listening, commenting, viewing, sharing, subscribing, following the podcast, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.